Our invocation. Thank you, Creator Source, for bringing us all together. And as we come together, we open our hearts in gratitude for this space, for our opportunity for friendship and our connection to Spirit, and to be with each other. And with this, we say thank you. Breathe that in just a moment. I want to introduce ourselves. We are a church that is over 100 years old. We were born in 1913 as a spiritualist church, and in the 90s, we transformed into an interfaith church, no longer led by a beloved pastor, instead led by our board of trustees. My name is Carolyn Sheets, and I'm currently the president of this board of trustees of a mighty good group of people. Grateful to be doing the work together. And today, we are here in our Sunday service with a monumental amount to say great gratitude for that we'll touch on in a bit more, but I'll say some of it right now. We have done in deep change of renewal in the last 2 years, and we as a community voted to do so. We have transformed and are in the process of our landscaping, the whole exterior, every inch by inch of our building, finding paint that had been and deterioration of materials that have been going on for decades. And it was simply time. Nobody was at fault in the past. It was simply time to do it now. And we also have our new prayer flags out. And we also have our talk today is with Robert Aho. I will introduce him now too. Robert is not only an architect, specializing in sustainable structures and work. He's also an author of a number of books. He's also working on another one. He's a poet. He is I don't know if the word applies, but a word that comes to me, devout, deep, spiritual student who actually, or not student, but seeker, that actually follows a path that is pre-Buddhism. And he's going to speak today about our prayer flags. And the title is so beautiful. The title of Robert's talk today is Blessings on the Wind, Benefiting All Beings with an Altruistic Attitude. And that is the story of our prayer flags that are not a random consideration of how to dress our church in prayers. So he's going to teach us more about that today. And with that, I'm going to bring us to our statement of intent, which is going to describe the fact that we have guest speakers. We are fortunate to have a variety of speakers for our Sunday services. By using guest speakers, we gain wisdom from all those who share. This is a church where we can worship the God of our own understanding, a place to experience joy and be uplifted, a place where we can gain strength and inspiration to share with all we meet throughout the week. We invite all of us to join together in this celebration of life, to nourish our spirits and to enjoy our company of kindred souls. Blessed be, amen. And now we will have, let's see now, we're going to have special music today, and it's our beloved own Michael Anderson who will sing after Robert's talk. Correct. I did a cul-de-sac for a moment there. And now I'm going to do another very meaningful announcement for us. Just within the last month, one of our beloved members and friends, Harley Blake, passed over suddenly, unexpectedly, with plans to move to a new apartment. And now we have another announcement of another person who's passed over. And it's JD, our beloved John Derwitt, passed over on Monday. And my friends, it's, as we all know, it's poignant. We miss people, and it's joyous. And because he was on a deep shamanic path, and I know the family well, I met JD in the early 80s when he was building with my husband, renovating a falling down Finnish homestead up in Cotton. And so I got to know JD early on as joy, as innovation, and as absolute show-up guy. And so for many years now, he came to our church, he taught shamanism here, he gave so much, he did a lot of speaking for us, and now in the last few years, he's had to retire to his home, his health is not good, and eventually he could not even take care of his beloved dogs, and I inquired about them, and his dogs are with his son, Mike. So the dogs are okay, and here is what his brother, who I also know well, Bruce, who lives now in Arkansas, as teaching shamanism, and he said that JD's son, Mike, has the dogs. He passed over to Bardo. He passed over to Bardo on Monday night when his heart gave out. He will be in Bardo a couple weeks, then go to the place of All Souls to meet with his soul committee for a life review and to help him decide on his next soul mission. Bardo is in the 4th dimension, so he is still close to us here. Blessed be. And also I know that JD requested no memorial service. So Bruce, his brother, said that's how we stand. However, I said, did he like, I think I remember that he liked to drum, and he wrote back, yes, he loved to drum, and he loved to play the Native American flute. And as we know, on our equinox, on the 22nd of September, we have a drumming. And so I think we can dedicate some drumming to JD at that time and maybe have a few memories. Maybe even his family will come. Bruce from Arkansas and a niece from Ashland area. So we'll see. But we can hold JD in our hearts with poignant celebration. And with that, I'm going to say that our speaker next week is Michelle Obed, who is going to bring us deep, energetic life work as a Catholic worker and following the path of Dorothy Day. That'll be very beautiful. And we have our church picnic today, as we know, and we're going to have a group photo, and we're going to have a walkabout the church to look at all the changes and beautiful enhancements and repairs, and we're going to have fun together. So that's our story. We're sticking to it. And so now we will have our prayer bowl. I'm purposely, we're saving our song for later right now. Except, was there one hymn that we were going to do with Robert? Okay, yeah, you two decided just the one with Michael. Okay, that's great. But now I want to turn ourselves to the prayer bowl. And as we know, it's an active, energetic center of healing energy. We can use our intention at any time to add our own prayers for life into the bowl. And now today, I wonder if there are any people who have someone they'd like to be prayed for, or an event that we'd like to pray anything for. Step on up to the mic if you'd like, so we're here on the camera. Okay, my friends.
I got a call last night from Kathleen Juno. Mark has a really bad cold, and he won't be here today. And so, otherwise, I'm sure he's fine. It's just everybody's getting colds lately, including me. Man, can you tell? Oh my gosh. So, yeah.
And Sue.
And Sue Brewer, oh my gosh. I hope she's home by now. But she went in, she had COVID and low sodium. And I talked to her the night before last, and she said, I'll be there one more night in the hospital. They're filling me full of fluids just to check things out and keep things going. And so I love to say, God bless America. Then you feel better. So, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carol, and certainly prayers for you too. And I would like to mention Virginia Hurley, a long-time presence who's been gone a long time now, and we don't know where she is. We think she's in a nursing home, but we haven't done the deepest level of work to find her, but we are bringing her prayers. Also, Julian Malone, we're actively keeping him in our company, our community here, as he has moved to Chicago following a bout of deep healing in a rehab center for anxiety. And so Julian has asked to stay part of our community in this way, and so we do. And now, Jerry, I see you have a prayer.
86 years ago, I came here to the earth.
Well done.
That's it. And we all get to come here for a reason of purpose, to be the spirits that we want to be, to enjoy the life that we have, and to share it with each other, because each of you are spirits of the highest love and light and peace and joy. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and love and peace and joy to everyone here today.
Happy
Amen.
birthday.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen. Yes, definitely, Denise.
My daughter's father-in-law was recently diagnosed with lung cancer, and so their family needs some prayers on this journey. They don't share a lot, so I don't know a lot. I just know that one of the spots was too close to the heart, so it's not operable, so it will be a treatment of some kind, so.
And some names.
His name is Cliff.
And your daughter's name?
My daughter's Haley.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, my friends, then as always, we will pray for Gaia. We will pray for Mother Earth and this great spiral dance we're on of ascension, and all of us with her, including more and more understanding that the plants and the animals and the wind and the fire and the water are all part of our family. We are all kin, and we're all doing it together. And so blessings for Gaia, blessings for all of her beings. Amen. And now, my friends, we will have a moment or two of silent prayer, and then we will have Robert begin his talk, and it will include a guide, some kind of meditation for us. He brings a lot when he comes. So let's have some quiet prayer for a moment for these people and for anybody else in your heart. And now, my friends, we will pick up our prayer card again in this prayerful time. And we will come to our declaration of principles. Declaration of Principles, and we can stand together. We will read these and our affirmation. And we've just gotten a whole bunch of new people coming in with us too. So look at this. We're picking up our prayer flags, people. We're picking up our prayer cards, people. We are going to read together our Declaration of Principles. We believe God is the eternal source and creator of all and is present in everything. Our eternal soul, endowed with free will, grows through many lifetimes. Communication occurs between the physical and spiritual worlds. Prayer and meditation strengthen our connection to the divine. All healing comes from Source. Seeking this for ourselves and compassion for others suffering is the highest priority. The choice of love, we do unto ourselves. The choice of love is always open for every soul. Living these principles leads us to grow in divine love. And as you take a breath, slide down to the church affirmation, please. And we will read this together. We totally accept the belief that God is in charge of the affairs and direction of Lake Superior Interfaith Community Church. As our thoughts of trust and joyful anticipation join in harmony with the thoughts of all the members of this fellowship, we attract the right ministerial leadership and people to our spiritual community. And we are grateful. You can be seated, please. Thank you. In the silence, page 74. We will sing it in our pews, and then Robert will come up.
Okay, listen very carefully. Did you hear how the sound, this energy, it resonated and it traveled into nothing, into empty space? Now, of course, this symbol here This is the ah symbol, the Tibetan symbol. And when we sound ah, it is the culmination of all teachings. So you can go to retreats in Buddhist retreats, Tibetan Buddhism or Zen or whatever you want, and you receive teachings. There's so many teachings. There's millions of teachings. Buddhism has millions of scriptures. Dzogchen alone, which is what Carolyn introduced me, that was the term, is Dzogchen, which predates Buddhism. It's said to have 6 million texts. And there's so many texts that nobody could possibly read them in an entire lifetime. And, you know, we think of the Christian Bible as 66 texts, 66 books put into a Bible, okay? So you think about this, millions of texts. So the sound ah, that energy combines all of these teachings. And how does it do that? It's opening us up. So you noticed when I sounded that, it opened your heart and mind. You can't help, you know, with that sound, you can't help but feel anything but an open heart and mind. So let's sound that together as a family here. We are unifying our spiritual practice today. And by sounding the ah sound, we join our energy. We join our intentions of bringing all people to awakening, bringing all people to the light, the source, all, not only humans, but all beings. You know, we think of ourselves as the only ones that we need to be concerned with. We need to be concerned with all the animals, all the creatures that we don't even know about. And this is a big universe. And as I saw in my return to my body when I died, I've spoken about this a few times, life is not a rare occurrence. It occurs all across the cosmos and the multiverse. It's something where we see life occurs in places that we don't even know exist. Our human mind is very limited. Our perception is very limited. And so we need to cultivate this open heart and mind. Sound is a wonderful vehicle for doing that. We can awaken in sound. What is awakening? That's the state beyond all obstacles. It's ultimate reality. It's not our mind quickly gathering intellectual explanations and beliefs and concepts and all of that. Awakening is our mind being totally open, our heart and mind totally open. And when we're in that, we're not doing this intellectually. This is not finally reading 6 million or 10 million scriptures and, you know, spanning all across the various religions in the world and all that has existed throughout time. It's very simple. It's our heart and mind completely open. So let's sound that together. Let's sound ah. And when you sound it, this is a meditation. This can be your only meditation. You can sound ah repeatedly. But use what we call the Vajra breath, which is kind of a yogic expression where you take that deep sound and you slowly expel air. So you sustain that sound, that energy. Okay, let's do that together. Now, in that sound, we became one. So in Buddhism, the definition of ignorance is that we have this belief in a separate self. When we enter our real condition, we discover that we are all one. This church, we sing about that. Our energy is about that, being all one. What a wonderful thing. This is our real condition. So we're really practicing to understand that. So we practice that with great compassion. Now, I use the word bodhicitta. If those of you who've been here before when I've spoken, I'm sure I've spoken about bodhicitta. It's sometimes people just say it's compassion, but bodhicitta is really the aspiration to awaken. And that must happen through great compassion. So it starts with yourself. You find, you may come to a point where you realize that all of these concepts, all of this clutter, it's becoming very, very frustrating. And this is the ultimate simplification. This is bringing our heart and mind to reality. So as my master Namkhai Narbu said, it's mind going into the nature of mind. It's like a mirror. So that's a Dzogchen teaching. Okay, so that's saying that, okay, mind is creating everything. We create everything with mind. Okay, how do we do that? Well, we're inventing ourself. We have these things that we do, and we are inventing others. We invent this delusion, this delusional thinking of self and other, and we nurture that, even though it causes us nothing but trouble. So our own ego becomes the source of all suffering. When we sort of break down those barriers and start living altruistically, we discover that we can change the world. We can awaken. We can help others awaken. And how do we do that? We do that with our energy. This is, how do we speak? How do we carry ourselves? How do we resonate with everyone? So today my talk is, as we said, is about prayer flags, Tibetan prayer flags. And I brought a short string with me to explain things. And so when you hang these, you always want to put the blue, which represents mind, at the top. That's the direction that, in this case, it has a wind horse on it. And that's carrying the blessings. So the symbol of, and I don't know how well you can see that from here, but the wind horse is that larger symbol in the middle. Not all prayer flags have a wind horse. They are varied. You can have a Buddha. You can have, let's say you are really, like interested in someone like Padmasambhava. The prayer flags outside have Padmasambhava on it, and with the wind horse, some of them have that. This is sort of the most typical prayer flag. And so what is that? The wind horse is like flying through space, carrying blessings. Well, this symbol is carrying the blessings of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So from a Western perspective, we don't quite know what that is. That's sort of something that isn't something that we talk about very often. But who is the Buddha? You're the Buddha. You just forgot. We're all the Buddha. We're all sleeping Buddhas. We have the potentiality of a fully enlightened being, just like Buddha Shakyamuni. We have that potentiality. The Dharma, that's the teachings. So it's not only these millions of texts that exist for our own benefit, it's everything is a teaching. Everything you encounter, you have the opportunity to learn from that. That's the teaching. Having these, I point out once in a while that even if you feel like you're not very in tune with yourself, you haven't meditated very much, you still have these little glimpses of a very bright light. Okay, every once in a while. A lot of the time it's associated with trauma. You see this little flash of light. When I clapped my fingers, or clapped my hands, you should have seen a little bit of flash of light just for a second. So I did that on purpose. I'm pointing out that that's who we really are, that bright light. But it's not an object. That bright light is beyond of the physical manifestation of energy and light, like this candle or the sun. It's beyond that. It's beyond concept. It's pure clarity. And so we're looking at that teaching as the ultimate teaching. That's what we are actually, how we're able to unify using the sound of awe. And the Sangha. What is the Sangha? That's the community of bodhisattvas. What's a bodhisattva? So that's someone who lives altruistically. So this is carrying all three of those things. What do you need to be a bodhisattva? So I know a lot of different people in the Buddhist communities, a lot of people from Tibet, and sometimes they talk about a bodhisattva as being sort of this pie in the sky kind of thing that you can attain, and sort of a supernatural being who's living very altruistically and bringing blessings. No, if you have the intention to awaken, you're a bodhisattva. You have the ability to help people. You have the ability to change the world, to bring blessings to everyone, just like this wind horse. Just like this wind horse. You have that power. So one thing I say repeatedly is you're not really on a spiritual path unless you have this altruistic attitude. You need to have this. Why are you doing that? Is it just to kind of feel cool and, these are some things that are kind of interesting? Well, okay, if you're dabbling, you're not on a spiritual path yet. You have to have that altruistic attitude about bringing blessings to everyone, all beings. That's the moment you're on the spiritual path. It's not even like in Buddhism, they might say that you have to take refuge in the three jewels, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Before that, you have to realize that there's a reason why you're a spiritual seeker. You need to make a commitment to change and help everyone, to change the world, to dispel all the negativity and all the harm that's happening, all the wars. Last time I was speaking about we're in a period right now where we really need to practice very seriously every day, doing mantras, doing altruistic activities, because we're in a time of danger that can occur in the year 2030, according to the prophecies of Padmasambhava. Well, that's Guru Rinpoche is another name for him. That exact thing, his teachings, he was a real person, and his teachings helped me to become very, very serious as a Buddhist practitioner. And more importantly, it led me very quickly to the Dzogchen path. And so I also attribute my very complete near-death experience, I could really say a death experience, because, as I've spoken before, I was instantly the light for an eternity. Time doesn't exist in the death bardo. It doesn't exist here either. We just have this our senses just give us this impression. So I instantly became the light. Now, most people go down a very long tunnel, or they just remain kind of in a dark place where it's just void. Okay, but I was very serious with my meditative practices, and you have that opportunity as well. So it's not because of any great merit on my part. It's because I was prepared for death. Very simple. And it was by cultivating this altruistic attitude. So the other symbols on this flag, we have the dragon, which is up in this corner. And the dragon represents protection. We have the Garuda, which represents, that's a mythical being, very well known in the Himalayas, that represents clarity or awareness. The Garuda is a very special symbol with Dzogchen. The Garuda, it is said, hatches fully formed. It bursts out of its shell and immediately slays demons. Of course, now that sounds like a really violent thing, but a demon is nothing other than an obstruction. It's something that prevents you from being awakened. That's all a demon is. It's nothing, don't give it too much importance. Don't be horrified by that. So in Dzogchen, there's this immediacy. It's not a gradual thing. So that's a whole other discussion. Then we have the tiger in this corner of the prayer flag, and that represents strength, and the snow lion, which represents joy. So these are all aspects. The wind horse is the awakening intention. So just as a bodhisattva has this intention to awaken, the wind horse represents that. And then the other symbols on the corners here are the qualities of a bodhisattva. So we need those qualities of protection, clarity, strength, and joy if we are to awaken. Joy is really important. People sometimes wonder, why is that part of it? But helping others, being generous with your intention to awaken, by helping all beings, however you can, that's an essential ingredient to this aspiration of a bodhisattva. So these are extremely important, and we think that the let me put this up here so you can see it better. So we have this symbolic representation. I'll just, here, that'll work.
We can keep it
Yeah,
like that.
just a little bit higher with that, so that's perfect. So, symbols. These are things that you use for your spiritual practice. It's not just an idea. So we have this string of prayer flags, the colors representing the different elements of mind, air, water, fire, earth, right? That's the 5 elements that are in Tibetan Buddhism. It's not the same as the periodic chart. It's a little bit different, related to our physical condition. So when we have this intention of a bodhisattva, we see the symbolism. We can become that intention. We can utilize this. We can hang up prayer flags. We can, just even come to the church and maybe sit in front of the prayer flags for a while and really contemplate what you're looking at and realize you can transform your life into the same blessings. So prayer flags are sending blessings in the wind. What is the wind? That's energy moving things. This intention, when you see these prayer flags, this is energy. This is just like the sound ah. This is this intention. The power of energy is an amazing thing. So sometimes you might run across a teaching a little bit different than what I'm suggesting here. But we say Om Ahong, body, speech, and mind. Okay, so sometimes people say body, that's your physical body. Speech, energy, and mind, then they say that's your mind, and it's in your heart center. But, whoops, sorry. But when I went to the death bardo, I instantly became the Dharmakaya. I was there for an eternity. It took me 100 years or a very long lifetime to return to my body. And then I returned to my body, and turns out I had only flatlined for 5 minutes. Okay? So this is, a lot of interesting kind of semi-confusing information to get a hold of. But when we say that time doesn't exist, it doesn't really exist except, in our own minds, then we have this different perception. So I say, when I talk about it, I'm saying Dharmakaya body. That's that bright light. Sambhogakaya speech. That's this energetic dimension that took me 100 years to traverse. So that's the same as our voice. That's the same as when we move, we use energy. Okay? Sound, voice, energy, same thing. So that sound dimension, that energetic dimension, that's where we're able to form our physical body. And so we go mind. Well, that's the Nirmanakaya mind. That's the physical dimension where nothing can exist that is outside of your mind. We create mind. We create all these different ideas with our mind. But we all do it in a different way. We all have different perceptions. We all have different abilities. Our capacity, meaning our capacity is how open is our heart and mind. So the awakening intention is about opening your heart and mind. We're not talking about intelligence. You don't need to be the most intelligent person in the world in order to awaken. You need to have the most open heart and mind, and anybody can do that. It's the most simple thing. You can, boom, you can become a fully enlightened being right now. Most people, it takes many lifetimes, but you can do it right now. So you have this intention of awakening. You're stepping onto the bodhisattva path. There's 10 bhumis regarding a bodhisattva. So each one of a bhumi is like a major step. When you take the vows of a bodhisattva, which you can do that publicly, you can find a lama to administer the vows, which I've done that twice in my life. You can do it that way formally, or you can just in your heart and mind, as part of your meditative practice, maybe you repeat your intention to awaken. And so that's the same. You don't need anyone else to really know about it. You can do this on your own. Publicly taking these vows is actually a little bit stronger because then you realize, oh, I've got to keep doing this because I took those vows and people saw me take those vows. So it's a little bit more serious. So we can live that way by simply cultivating that bodhicitta, the intention to awaken. And if we awaken, we are helping all beings. So I wanted to read I don't think I had time last time to read the prayer related to the 2030, why we need to turn back war. Guru Rinpoche said, in every direction, pacify and turn back all war and invasion by military forces. So our intention will actually help to do that. We can look at the world and we can have this attitude, and then when people are feeling like they're very warlike or very like they're feeling very violent or something, or wishing others ill will, it pacifies that, it takes that away. So we can do that with our own intention, because just think about how the ripple effects, the people in your lives. How does that affect people? They might start to realize that, oh, that's not good. War is not something that we should ever want to do. So the, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. So the brief spontaneous fulfillment of wishes is as follows, and this was part of the last teaching. Guru Pema, form of all victors, in your pure land mountain of glory, see us now in times so in decay. With compassion, may you heed our prayer as you rest at the crown of my head, O Root Lama Orgyen Rinpoche. With the line of lamas and of commands, purify me of my bad karma, bless me that my wishes be fulfilled. Eastern Palace, lovely to behold, Dr. Buddha Orgyen Rinpoche with 8 Dr. Buddhas and Rigzens, pacify all manner of illness, bless me with my wishes that my wishes be fulfilled. In your place, wisdom volcano, Chemchok, Hero Orgyen Rinpoche, with your wrathful chosen deities, please bestow attainments so holy. And it goes on, and I see that I don't really have time to read the whole prayer, but you can definitely look this up. But it ends with the Oma Hong Benzra Guru Pema Siddhi Hong. And we want to say that mantra daily, as many times as you can. You can also say Om Ma Hong Vajra Guru Pema Siddhi Hong. And that is bringing blessings to all. So we're doing that with our voice, we're doing that with our mind, bringing blessings to all. So let's repeat that a little bit. Om Ma Hong Vajra Guru Pema Siddhi Hong. 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 Okay, I see I'm out of time, and thank you one and all, and blessings to all. Please find ways to live your life for the benefit of all beings, not just yourself, but all beings. Live altruistically, and may all beings benefit by our gathering here today. Thank you.
You know, I popped up here because I wanted him to remind us, but I can remind us. Help me if I'm off. These specific prayer flags are responding to a very specific prediction that starts in 2024. 2024 until 2030. And they're from the great ancient Buddha, sometimes called the second Buddha. The second Buddha. And his name is attached to the prayer flags we have at both entries. And he said in like 800 AD, something like that, he said 2024 to 2030 is a time of incredible danger on the planet. And that this specific set of 6 years is when we particularly need the prayers for peace. And of course, our minds go to the levels of war we now know how to do on the planet. So we are You know, these, Robert and Steve, one of our board members and long-term everything guys, hung these just a month ago, about a month ago. They're a new thing. We were waiting to find, to be inspired, to have something come to us for what would we have as more expression on the outside of our church to the world that we haven't had. We've only had our sign for decades. So that's part of what this is about. And it just was a beautiful, expressive talk for us. Thank you so much. And with that, my friends, we will now have a song from Michael that he and Robert have planned.
So Robert and I talked about a couple of possibilities, especially with respects to the prayer flags. He talked about the wind and the importance of the wind. And as the wind is blowing through these prayer flags, very similar to with the Native American pipe, that our prayers would go to the Creator through the smoke. And from my perspective, same thing happens as the wind is blowing through the flags. Again, the words of a sage. So welcome the wind and the wisdom it offers. Follow its summons when he calls again. In your heart and your spirit, let that wisdom surround you. Lift up your voice now and call to the wind, that transcendent experience, that attunement, that at one moment with that other dimension. Carolyn talked about one of the tenets of our church is to experience joy and be uplifted. Robert also talked about with the sound. In that sound, we become one. So this song is something written by Arthur Sullivan, that's of Gilbert and Sullivan fame. And they're famous for a lot of their satires. But Gilbert was a really dedicated, serious musician. So he talks about the lost chord. Sitting one day at the organ, I was weary and ill at ease, when my fingers wandered idly over the noisy keys. I know not what I was playing, or what I was dreaming then, but I struck one chord of music like the sound of a great amen, like the sound of a great amen. It flooded the crimson twilight like the close of an angel's psalm, and it laid on my fevered spirit with a touch of infinite calm. It quieted pain and sorrow like love overcoming strife. It seemed the harmonious echo from our discordant life. It linked all perplexed meaning into one perfect piece, and it wandered away into silence as if it were loath to cease. I have sought, but I seek it vainly, that one lost chord divine, as it came from the soul of the organ and entered into mine. It may be that death's bright angel will speak in that chord again. It may be that only in heaven I shall hear that great amen. It may be that only in heaven I shall hear that great amen. It may be that only a step away I shall hear that grand amen.
Thank you, Michael. Now we'll have our offering, my friends. Thank you, time, talent, and treasure. Blessed be.
In the silence now, there is a sacred place, a sacred meeting place where we all become one with the higher spirit of the universe. And so we ask for that now. Ask yourselves, we all become one again with the universe of spirit forever and always. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. And now, my friends, our benediction is right here. As we go into our week, may we breathe through our hearts, radiate through our hearts, and may we shine. Morning, noon, and night, shine out to each other and live as one with our Creator. Amen. And now we'll come toward the circle. All those who wish, we'll make a big circle, hold hands, and sing the last song. Bring your prayer card with you if you wish. It's a sort of familiar song. I mean, it's a familiar song, but we changed it a little bit.
Oh, okay. Thank you.